Shalom Israel, Shalom Shalom. This is Brother Wariala, and this is my channel, Rise Up Israel. First and foremost, I give all honor and glory to the Most High God Yahweh, by Hashem, Hamashiach, Malak Yahushai. That is to give honor and glory to the Most High God. You know who the world will call God? Jehovah, Yahweh, but whose real name is Yahweh in the ancient Paleo-Hebrew. And I do so in the name of his only begotten Son, whose name is Yahweh Shai, but who the world may call Yeshua, Jesus Christ, you know, things of that nature, but whose real name is Yahweh Shai, right? And I want to do a quick video on, you know, just a sign of the times and everything that's going on and what we have to look forward to in these last days, right? Salaki, bear with me real quick. All right, Salakia. So, pretty much, as you can see by the title of this article, it speaks on an Arizona man wanting to start a race war with mass shooting at Atlanta concert, right? So, pretty much, this is what we have to look forward to. What we have to look forward to is an Arizona man wanting to start a race war, right? And this is the mindset of a lot of white people in the Americas, right? They want to start a race war because they want to kill black and Hispanic people, right? So let's keep going. And it says this: Arizona man wanted to start race war with mass shooting at Atlanta concert, DOJ, right? Authorities say they uncovered an Arizona man's plot to shoot and possibly kill African Americans and other minorities at a concert at Atlanta's State Farm Arena. On Tuesday, a federal grand jury indicted 58-year-old Mark Adams Prieto of Prescott on charges of firearms trafficking, transfer of a firearm for use in a hate crime, and possession of unregistered firearm. According to the indictment, between January and May 24th, Prieto had been in discussion with two people who were secretly working with the Federal Bureau of Investigation to plan a mass shooting at the Atlanta venue in May, right? And he's been communicating with people who pretty much were undercover, seeing if this is what this man actually was planning to do. And he wanted to kill black people, right? This is the reason why he wanted to do it, right? Officials say their investigations began when Prieto told a man at a gun show that he wanted to incite a race war prior to 2024 United States presidential election. Prieto, a vendor at the crossroads of the West gun shows in his hometown, allegedly would trade his personal firearms using cash deals to avoid any interference with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Explosives. On January 21st, officials say Prieto discussed with the source, an undercover FBI agent, that he wanted them to help him carry out a shooting at a rap concert in Atlanta, specifically targeting the city because of its black population, right? He wants to do this because he wants to target the city's black population, right? As reported by the indictment, Prieto said he wanted to target a rap concert because there will be a high concentration of African Americans, and planned to leave Confederate flags after the violence and to shout phrases like KKK all the way. After discussing the attack multiple times, officials said he sold one of the men rifles multiple times. So we understand that this is the mindset of an individual, and it's to start a race war, right? And this is what we have to look forward to in the incoming years, right? Because people may speak of being replaced, the people trying to replace, you know, white America and things of that nature, and they say, and they blame it on foreigners, when really the people that they believe that are going to come in and replace them are black and Hispanic people, right? Let's just play this quick video real quick. It's like it.
Records are revealing how the FBI broke up a plot to stop a mass shooting. Back in October, the FBI says it began its investigation into Mark Prieto after a confidential informant who spoke with him more than a dozen times over 3 years at various gun shows said Prieto called for a mass shooting targeting blacks, Jews, and Muslims before the 2024 presidential election. During a January gun show in Phoenix, Prieto tried recruiting that informant and an undercover FBI agent. According to court records, Prieto wanted to carry the plan out in Georgia because, he says, when he was a kid, that was one of the most conservative states in the country. More specifically, Prieto wanted to carry out the attack at a rap concert because he said there would be, quote, a high concentration of African Americans. During a February meetup at a gun show, Prieto began offering details of the plan, including the number of guns to be used. During this meetup, Prieto sold that undercover agent a gun for $2,000 and said he would also like to use grenades during the attack because it can, quote, cause panic. At another gun show in March in Prescott Valley, Prieto provided more specific details. That attack would take place in Atlanta at State Farm Arena on May 14th or 15th. Performing that night was rapper Bad Bunny. During that gun show, Prieto sold an AR-15 rifle to that undercover agent for $1,000 and told them to, quote, bring as many magazines as the gun could carry. In the following weeks, agents continued to monitor Prieto's movements. During an April meetup, Prieto continued to fine-tune his plans, even discussing heading east to do reconnaissance, but emphasized the attack, quote, must happen prior to the election and as soon as possible. Authorities arrested Prieto back on May 14th as he crossed into New Mexico. Investigators say he had several guns in his truck, even more found at his home in Prescott while executing a search warrant.
All right. So this is what we have to, look forward to in these last days, right? Because this is what's happening. You have what you would call the devil wanting to go out of his way to provoke a civil war with black people by simply just killing them, and that's the goal. And that was always the goal, right? And now I'm gonna keep looking as we read, because there's more to this that plays a major role with Bible prophecy. And I just want to add this one thing to it real quick. Bear with me real quick. Here's another thing right here, and it says the Buffalo Shooters ideology, white genocide, the Great Replacement theory, and accelerationism, right? And this is what it says. Let's see how many times we can find it. Okay, watch this, right? And it says this. Shortly before the attack, the shooter shared a manifesto describing his racist beliefs with the explicit goal of provoking future mass shootings. If offered a pastiche of different racist theories and memes largely copied from extremist message boards and manifestos left by past mass shooters, it also included extensive discussions of firearms, firearm modifications, and body armor as a way of giving practical advice to future killers. His manifesto, like the manifestos of several previous white supremacist mass shooters, calls for future violence against black people and others perceived as non-white in order to protect an ideological white race, right? And this is the mentality, to kill black people because, as we're going to read further, white people aren't producing enough, right? The most prominent theme concerns the supposed decline of the white race and its replacement by other demographic groups, what he calls white genocide. The concept that white birth rates are declining and being surpassed by those of other races. White demographic decline has deep historical roots reaching back to at least 19th century. It motivated the 20th century eugenics movement in the United States and Europe, United States and Europe, and it has become an organizing principle of white supremacist extremism across the globe. In the late 20th century, white supremacist extremists began propagating a theory of white genocide as a Jewish-led conspiracy to lower white birth rates in order to replace white majorities in perceived white homelands with other races. A version of this theory is known as the Great Replacement, after a book by the same name for a genocide, by the same name for a decade, a book by the same name. For a decade, there was a fringe theory touted by extremists recently. However, the Great Replacement has entered mainstream political discourse through pundits such as Tucker Carlson of Fox News, who has reportedly referenced the theory, particularly with respect to Democratic national politics, right? So you have even somebody like Tucker Carlson, pretty much many people believe in that there's a Great Replacement, and that there's a difference between the old Great Replacement, that people from other countries are going to come and replace the white Americans, and the new Great Replacement, whereas they think that minorities in America right now are the ones that are going to be the ones that greatly replace them, right? And I want to grab a quick scripture on this real quick, right? Not in Romans, bear with me, Salakia, but in 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and verse verse 70, and it says this: "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection." There's going to be a great insurrection. This is what we're pretty much looking forward to. A great insurrection. This is what's coming to America upon those who fear the Lord, right? So coming to the conclusion that, oh man, let me play back the music. Come to the conclusion that this is something that's to all other nations? Absolutely not. This Great Replacement is to those that fear the Lord, which we know are the Israelites, which are the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, right? A great insurrection is going to come upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord, right? For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then at that point, when you see these things happen, then shall they be known who are my chosen. So when you hear it written as, oh, he has this against Jews, against black people and minorities, it's not Jews, black people, and minorities. It is so-called black and Hispanic people, because those are going to be the ones that are known as God's chosen, right? And this is what is going to, and this is pretty much what it says. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire, because this is the fire that the Israelites are going to be getting tried through, right? We're going to be tried as gold, right? That's why, Salakia, if it isn't showing everything, bear with me. Salakia, this is why, this is the chiefest of when we're going to go through our temptation, where we're going to be tempted. And now and this is going to be the time where we have to show the Most High that we have total and utter faith in Him, which, if it be the Most High's will, we will have, right? Verse 74, "Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same." This sounds like a similar phraseology as in other books and chapters, right? And I'm going to grab it. But here's what he says: "Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same." Those same days of trouble, Yahweh is going to deliver us from. "Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for God is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord God. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves." So this is the time where we should trust in the Most High God and keep the faith. Keep faith in Yahweh, right? But this is written in other chapters. The days of trouble is going to come, but you're going to be delivered from the same. Where'd you hear that from? It's Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 6. And it says this: "Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail?" Why do I see pretty much every man screaming like a woman as if he was giving birth? Because men don't give birth, right? And why are all faces are turned into paleness? Why are all these men's faces into paleness, turned to pale, right? And this is what he explains: "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he will be saved out of it." And And that's what we should always know. When these times come, this we're closer than we could ever even imagine to the kingdom of heaven, right? Jacob's trouble is what's next, and this is what you see brewing, right? For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves within. Meaning, Jacob is going to be delivered from this set oppression that would be on him in these last days, right? And this is what we see. When I read that manifesto I read, if I didn't pull it up, that manifesto was from the Buffalo shooting. It was from the Buffalo shooting, and it was explaining what that young devil's plan was. His plan was to pretty much incite war in the mind of black people, so that black people can fight back, so white people can kill them all. That's what that is talking about. He didn't say go to a synagogue or go to a mosque. He said go to a damn all black supermarket and start killing innocent old black people, because he wants to provoke the anger of black people to start a war, because he believes white people will win, right? And actually, I'm gonna keep grabbing. It's a few other ones I wanted to go into. Salakia. And this is more on a great replacement, right? That speaks more into it. I might have more up. Salakia, bear with me. All right, let's keep going. And it says this: what is the great replacement, and how is it tied to Buffalo shooting suspect? Authorities are calling Saturday's mass shooting in Buffalo a racially motivated attack. The suspect allegedly wrote a 180-page document filled with hateful rants about race and ties to the Great Replacement. Here's what you need to know. Okay, here we go. What is the Great Replacement? In short, the Great Replacement is a conspiracy theory that states that non-white individuals are being brought into the United States and other Western countries to replace white voters to achieve a political agenda. It is often touted by anti-immigration groups, white supremacists, and other, according to the National Immigration Forum, right? This is what's so stupid about this. Why go and kill a bunch of black people? Why not go and kill a bunch of these Russians that are coming into America and moving in? These Eastern Europeans that come into America. Because those are the ones that would actually, that are fitting the identification of the people moving into America to replace Americans. You see what I'm saying? So it's BS. It's a spirit that the Most High has put on these devils, so that it will be known who the children of Israel really are. Because no matter who comes into this country or not, they're still going to have this type of anger and animosity toward us, right? And this is pretty much why I found this is very important, right? Now I want to grab this video, right? Bear with me. Slovakia. Slovakia. Alright. I want to put this disclaimer out there real quick. And it'll be very quick. Okay. Real quick. The information discussed, disclaimer, the information discussed in this video is for general information purposes only. This video may offer health, fitness, nutritional information, including without limitation, advice and recommendation that is provided solely as general education and informational purposes. This video may contain links to external websites that are not provided or maintained by or in any way affiliated with the company. So just so I put that out there, that's the only reason why I'm pulling these videos out. But let's get to it, right? We understand that Jacob's trouble is coming, that people are going to try and kill the people, the prophets of the Most High. Matter of fact, let me just grab it one more scripture on that, right? Bear with me. It's a lot. Because this is another point in time that's coming up next, right? And it says this in the fifth seal, right? Revelation 6:9, it says, and when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? Because the children of Israel will be getting killed. And a number has to be set before we're able to go on to that next seal. Right? And let's keep going. And white robes were given unto every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest for yet a little season, until the fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. So there are going to be a lot of our people that are killed for the word of Yahweh, right? But they're going to be given white robes. That's what's going to happen. So when you see these things, and you see Israelites going to be dying for the word of the Most High, then now you're able to come to that conclusion and be like, damn, these people have a far good blessing, right? Let's check this real quick. This is 2nd Ezra 2:42, and it says, I, Ezra, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people whom I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. And in the midst of them there was a young man of a high stature, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. This is who you will call Yahweh Shai, right? This is who the world will call Christ, whose real name is Yahweh Shai. This is Yahweh Shai they're talking about. So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing and put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of Yahweh. Now are they crowned and receive palms, right? Then said I unto the angel, What young person is it that crowneth them, and giveth them palms in their hands? So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of God. It is Yahweh Shai, the Son of Yahweh, right? Whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of Yahweh. He began to commend those that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. So there are going to be people that have white robes on, palms in their hands, that stand stiffly for the name for the name of the Lord and for the ways of the Most High, by Hashem Yahushai. So that's something that we have to keep in mind when these things come to pass. May the Most High be with us, right? But even when you continue to go on to Revelation chapter 7 and 4, and it says this, speaking of this same people group, right? I'll just start at verse 3 or verse 2, and it says, and I saw another angel ascending from the east, having this, Revelation 7 and 2, and I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God, and he cried with a loud voice to the four angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of God and their foreheads. This is when the servants of God are sealed. Once they're sealed, pretty much once the fifth seal starts, is when the children of God have been sealed in their foreheads, meaning their minds are already accustomed to the words of the Most High God, right? They have the law written in their minds and in their heart, right? And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. So who are the 144,000? The children of Israel, right? But check this out. Those aren't the only people that are going to be saved. Because look what it says. And after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne, before the lamb clothed with white robes and palms in her hands. Ezra is talking about this. This is what Ezra was talking about. Stood before the lamb. Who is that? That young man that was stood taller than everybody else. These are all the Israelites, right? And cried with a loud voice, saying, salvation to our God, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. So we understand that this is talking about the children of Israel. Why? Because the children of Israel will be the ones that will be gathered from every nation, right? I can grab this from literally any scripture, but let's just grab it from Zechariah, right? Chapter 7 and 14. And it says this, but I scattered them with the whirlwind, Zechariah chapter 7 and 14, and it says, but I scattered them with a whirlwind among all the nations whom they knew not. Thus the land was desolate after them, that no man passed through nor returned, for they laid the pleasant land waste. Right? So we understand that the children of Israel will be the ones that will be gathered together. Right? Or that will be scattered into all nations. We can go to Deuteronomy chapter 30, and it says this, and it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee, and shall return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity and will have compassion upon thee, and will return thee and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. If he had driven thee, if any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of the heaven, from thence would the Lord thy God gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. And the Lord thy God will circumcise thy heart and the heart of thy seed, and to love the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. So we understand that this is what we have to look forward to. Although these things are going to happen and bad things, are going to happen to the children of Israel, it's going to get a whole lot better afterwards, right? So let's keep going. Let's grab this video real quick.
Alerts for what's to come, and there's no shame in raising these questions. So here's one for you. With over 30 million, upwards of 43 million illegal immigrants that have poured across the border during Biden's presidency, and the federal government is building massive facilities that can sleep tens of thousands of individuals all across the country. You probably haven't heard about these large facilities, have you? Well, why are they being built? Who are they for? We might finally have an answer. Listen.
It's not for these illegals, especially let's go off the numbers that they're telling us that there really are. They're saying, 11 million? In reality, I can tell you right now, with talking to all of the agents that I've talked to, private sector, looking at the cameras and all the real data, we're over 30 plus million who've actually entered this country.
Yep.
And so even with that, even though that's enough to replace about 36 states population.
Sick of eating crap that doesn't fill you up? So was I, but luckily I found Huel's Black Edition, a cost-effective way of getting nutritional fast food.
Why would they need to continue to do that if they're trying to absorb these guys, make them productive members of our society, get them into housing, because we know that there are already housing projects being coordinated with builders, again, with our money. I believe it's to kind of like what Nazis did with the Jews, concentration camps, processing facilities. They're going to need somewhere to process the dissidents.
Mm-hmm. So it's not for illegal immigrants? Who is it for? Dissidents? We're going to unpack this with former 24-year veteran of the Customs and Border Protection, J.J. Carroll, who did this interview as part of his new documentary, Treason, scouring the country right now. And you just keep bringing unbelievable revelation after unbelievable revelation as part of this story. And I think, again, most Americans have no idea what is going on, and it's being absolutely kept from the American people right now. And JJ joins us once again here on the show. Great to see you. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me, Clayton. And thank you for talking about this documentary, because as I travel the nation, I have a very, I believe I'm an expert on this topic. However, when you talk to people, and I have interviewed multiple people from all different levels of ability to get intelligence gathering data, it's fascinating to me and shocking at the same time when I speak to people that are very compartmentalized, meaning they focus on child sex trafficking, They talk about the gang members. They talk about facilities, and you get deep in that rabbit hole. Really, it's a rabbit hole. You're like, I didn't know it was this deep. I didn't know it was this broad. I didn't know it was this malicious. And you played this clip from someone I interviewed this past weekend. Her name is Christy Hutcherson, and she runs an organization called Women Fighting for America. But her background was federal contracting, and more specifically, abroad, but specifically, she worked on forward operation bases, FOBs, in military war zones, where she would put up these giant soft-sided facilities, water, food, et cetera, et cetera. So we're talking tens of millions, if not billions of dollars, right, that have transferred from her company, which she no longer is a part of, but she has access to all the bid contracts. So I'm interviewing her, and like I said, I have a very good understanding of what the hell's going on in America under this immigration invasion. But when I speak to people that are very dialed in on very specific areas, I'm shocked. And she tells me, and I didn't know this because I don't have access to it. She has access to the federal database where you can go on a website and there are endless bids for contracts from whatever. But she's focusing in on, she says to me, there's bids for detention facilities being built in all 50 states in America. And I said, okay, hold on a second. Say that again. She says, okay, I can go into a database because my company used to bid on all this. And I bid overseas, international contracts, very, very intelligent woman, very, very connected. And she says, I go in the database, JJ, and there's detention facility bids to build individual detention facilities in every state in the union. And then she goes on to say to me, well, JJ, who do you think they're built for? Are they built for all the illegal aliens or the unaccompanied alien children? Of course not. And she has a point, right? Because
you would think, right? So that's where I was confused. I would have thought, okay, they're building all of these detention facilities across the United States for a purpose, illegal immigrants. But no, right? Because as your data has suggested, most of these ICE facilities, right? Can you talk about that, are completely empty?
Yes. Well, they are completely empty. I talked to my buddies in Texas and in San Diego, and I talked to my ICE supervisors, and they tell me, JJ, they're empty. So you're talking anywhere from 30 to 40,000 beds across America, mainly on the southern border, right, are empty. Well, why are they empty? Because we have massive catch and release. Let me explain what this looks like. In the old days, right? The old days, Clayton, 3.5 years ago, not 30 years ago, when I got someone that was special interest alien, deported felon, whatever, I didn't release them. I sent them to an ICE holding facility, and they went and they waited there a week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever it was, to go in front of the judge, find deported, or found to be guilty of reentering as a felon. Then they spent time in federal prison, and then they would be deported. So we had all this bed space. But now, if I get someone that's a deported felon, I know this is going to be hard for people to believe. I arrest someone that's a deported felon now, I'm releasing them. I'm releasing them on the street. So you go from arresting people 3 years ago, setting up for deportation and prosecution, goes to, we call it a camp space in an ICE facility, and then that individual goes through the court system and then is ultimately deported after he or she serves her time. Not now. Everyone gets arrested by the Border Patrol. They quickly vet them, and then release them. Just release them. We just had 8, I'm going to mispronounce it.
Okay, so you get the point, right? And this is what we have to look forward to, right? Again, he's expressing how there's these giant facilities being made in every state in America that is for dissidents, right? And for those of you that don't know what dissidence is like a rebellious person, right? Someone that's being rebellious or that isn't fitting in with what the government wants, right? So mind you, let me see. Dissident, right? A dissident person who actively challenges an established political, religious system, doctrine, belief, policy, or institution. In a religious context, the word was used, has been used since the 18th century, and in the political sense since the 20th century, coinciding with the rise of authoritarian governments in countries such as fascist. Okay, that's pretty much it, right? But it's for dissidents, people that don't want to fit in, don't want to follow the ways of the society, right? We're going to keep reading into this, right? Around the country, a conspiracy theory about the government constructing secret concentration camps is taking on new life. Mind you, the woman that was speaking about this, she said that she thinks she has the belief system that this is going to be along the same levels of what happened with the Jews in the Holocaust. Now we understand what happened, but the idea that they put out that happened, right? They were going through such a terrible time. They couldn't leave on their will. That's what this woman is believing this is for people that don't want to fall in line with the ways of the government, right? And this is what it says. It looks like nothing more than a 2,500 acre military complex, but sinister plans are afoot. One day soon, if it hasn't happened already, law-abiding U.S. citizens will be rounded up and imprisoned here by their oppressive federal government. It's perfectly obvious to anyone with eyes to see the traffic signs that direct FEMA trucks this way and that. This is one of the 800 or more detention camps being built by a government gone mad. All right. At least that's what more and more Americans believe. A fear that the federal government will concoct a pretense for declaring martial law and confine patriotic dissidents to concentration camps, a conspiracy theory that goes back decades and was especially prevalent during the militia movement of the 1990s. Is spreading as the country experiences a surge in groups on radical right, because that's what it looks like. You see issues with the government wanting to focus more on having control of its citizens, and not just control like I want these people to stop doing something or stop breaking the law. No, I want to have actual full control of these people groups, and that's what we're going to see further and further, right? Now, like, remember what I said to you in 2 Ezra chapter 16 is that this is going to be the perfect time, and this is when it's going to be known who are those that actually fear the Most High God, right? And just to speak on what things you'll see in such an environment, just read 2 Maccabees, right, Salakia? Because this is who it's going to be for. It's going to be for the children of Israel. Now, of course, there may be other people that may be there and things of that nature. But remember, it is going to be known who the Lord's children are in these last days, right? And it says this, 2 Maccabees chapter 7:1, and it says, and it came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother was taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh, and were tormented with scourges and whips, right? So this is what's going to happen. You're going to be now, Lord willing, the Most High has mercy in these situations, but these things are going to happen. People are going to be taken, scourged with whips, and told not to keep the laws of the Most High. But this is what Christ told us what happened, right? If I'm not mistaken, this is Matthew 16. Salakia, no, it's not. It's Matthew 10, Salakia. Matthew 10 and verse, watch this. All right, here we go. 10 and 16, it says this. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles, right? But when they deliver you up, take no thought or what ye shall take no thought, how or what ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. Call Allah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents, and cause them to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved. This is what this looks like. This is these FEMA camps, all these things is getting built up. This is getting built up for the children of Israel, because the devil hath great wrath, right? Let's keep reading. But when they persecute you in the city, flee ye into another. For verily I say unto you, ye shall not have gone over the cities of Israel till the Son of Man be come. The disciple is not above his master, nor the servant above the Lord, right? So let's grab this real quick. It is enough for the disciples that he be as his master and the servant as his Lord, if they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more shall they call them of his household, right? So we understand that we must fear the Most High, and that this is a good thing that's going to happen, because if they did this to our Lord and our Savior, how much more, who are we? You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't we go through this, right? Verse 26, fear them not therefore, for there is nothing covered, right, that shall not be revealed. Salakia. Fear them not therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known, right? This is what we have to look forward to. This is what's going to happen, right? And like I said, the reason why they're going to do this is because they understand that it's almost over. It's over for them after this. This is their last shot. This is it. After this, this is it. There's nothing else. There's nothing else for them, right? This is Revelation chapter 12 and 12, and it says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he know that he hath but a short time." This is why he's going about doing these things, because he know he doesn't have a long time. He knows that if I don't do this now, I'm going to be out of rulership. Right? Look at this. Let's grab this real quick. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 and 12. 2 and 12. I was going to get the context, but no need. This is what they say in their heart, right? Therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn. Meaning he wants our rulership to be over with. And he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law. Remember what John the Baptist did to Herod? See, remember he did he pretty much cut him, told him he shouldn't be laying with his brother's wife. And this is how they feel in their heart. Like, who is he to tell us what to do, right? He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objective to our infamy, the transgressions of our education. He professes to have the knowledge of God, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord, because that's what we are. We have, as a prince has power with God, so do we. You know what I'm saying? That's who we are. We stand chiefly with the angels of the Lord. See what I'm saying? We have power with God, right? So let's keep reading. He was made to reprove our thoughts, and that's why we were made. We were made to reprove the thoughts of the world. Doesn't it say in Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 24 that we are that pretty much this everything that we're reading and our laws and our commandments is going to be our wisdom that we're going to give to the other nations? Well, I mean, Deuteronomy 4 chapter 4 through 6, Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 4 on down, Deuteronomy 6 and 24 on down. All these things speak on the fact that we're the ones that are going to give the understanding to the nations, right? He is grievous unto us, even to behold, for his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion. One moment. His ways are of another fashion, right? So this is why we have to continue to grow in his faith, because that's how they look at us. That's how they want this thing. That's how they want this thing to end. They want it to end whereas we aren't going to be on top. Actually, there's more, right? Look what it says, verse 16. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. Meaning, we don't smoke marijuana. We're not out being alcoholics and drunkards. We're not pimping on our women anymore. We're not being sodomites. We're not watching pornography. We're not going into the wicked lust of the flesh as we once did. We abstain from the ways of the wicked, as from filthiness, as from dirty vomit that we don't want to touch, right? He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that God is his father. That's why these things happen. That's what I'm busy. And maketh his boast that God is his father. Let us see if his words be true. Let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. So we understand that this is what their mentality is, to see if our words are true, right? They want to see if we're really in this thing for the Lord, right? Let me read that again. Let us see if his words be true. Let us prove what shall happen in the end of him, right? For if the just man be the son of God, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. And that's what we look forward to, right? Further on it says, let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Let us condemn him with a shameful death, for by his own saying he shall be respected. So if we're going to kill him like a dog in the street, and according to how he thinks, that's a right way to die in the eyes of the Most High, because we died for the word of the Lord, right? Such things they did imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness have blinded them. And that's why we have to continue to stand strong in this faith, right? Let's jump to verse 23. For God created man to be immortal and made him to be an image of his own eternity. So we understand that this is what this leads to, right? This is why we have to stand strong and stay strong in this faith, right? And let's grab this in Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10, and it says this: fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Right? This is what we have to look forward to when we're in these FEMA camps, when we're in prison for 10 days, when the devil is putting us in prison for 10 days, which is just a completion amount of days. Could be 10, it could be 30, could be a year. Right? So this is what we have to look forward to, but we got to stand strong in this faith, right? But let's keep pushing. Right? Next video. Again, our thoughts and comments is only for edification purposes, not for anything else. Let's keep reading.
Reserve is considering the creation of the United States Federal Reserve is considering the creation of a digital dollar. Cyber currencies have many supporters, yet critics warn they would be a privacy nightmare.
One currency expert claims the removal of cash would push America closer to a totalitarian state. Dale Hurd has the story.
Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell told the House Financial Services Committee in March that the Fed had already begun testing a digital dollar.
So what we're doing is experimenting in kind of early stage experimentation. How would this work? Does it work? What's the best technology? What's the most efficient?
Just like paper dollars, a central bank digital currency, or CBDC, would be issued by the Federal Reserve. Those pushing for it say it would have several advantages over physical money. They say it could be used to fight inflation because the Fed would have more direct control over the money supply. It could speed up transaction payments and help fight money laundering.
The ability to track transactions has a couple of elements that are very attractive to economic policymakers. One is to know where people are spending their money. Another is to track taxes and prevent evasion and that sort of thing.
Backers say the U.S. needs a digital dollar if it wants to remain the world's reserve currency. Opponents warn that it could be a very effective instrument of government control. Physical money has been called one of the last bastions of privacy. Laws like the Bank Secrecy Act have already stripped away most of the privacy from bank accounts and financial transactions.
Banks have really a ton of power that people don't realize to shut down accounts, to freeze accounts, and to end up holding them for really any number of reasons.
Currency expert James Rickards says a digital currency would move America closer to a totalitarian state.
If I buy anything, the government doesn't know it. MasterCard kind of knows it, but even MasterCard uses product codes. So they don't say, Jim bought a Snickers. It says Jim bought miscellaneous merchandise at a retail place. So the government doesn't know what you're doing. But with this new central bank digital currency, they will, because they maintain the ledger. So if I buy, Ron DeSantis' new book, or I go to a Donald Trump rally, or whatever it may be, the government, using artificial intelligence and having that information, which they would, are able to profile you. They say, well, this guy kind of looks like a conservative and maybe he's MAGA. And then you've got a target on your back.
Last year, a Canadian court froze millions of dollars raised for truckers blocking roads to protest COVID-19 vaccine mandates. When the Pakistani government was faced with almost non-stop protest last year, it threatened to switch off the bank accounts of the protesters. A digital dollar could not only be switched off, the Fed would be able to force negative interest rates on Americans if it wanted them to spend more, penalizing savers. Digital cash might also be an easy target for hackers. On the bank-to-bank level, a real-time payment system called FedNow is expected to begin in July. It's not a digital currency, but an upgrade to what some call our antiquated banking system.
FedNow service is an instant payments infrastructure that financial institutions can use to clear and settle payments instantly.
Large bank deposits will be expected to clear much faster than they do now. But when it comes to a digital dollar, Fed Chairman Powell has admitted he's not at all confident that Americans want it. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Well, this ought to send a chill down your spine when you read in the book of Revelation that there'll come a day where you can't buy or sell. The digital currency actually enables that. If they're physical currency, whether that's coins or paper money, you get to have that, and you get to have physical possession of it, and so you can go to a marketplace and you can buy. You can also take your products to a marketplace and sell them and get cash. And the government's not involved in that transaction at all. They don't even know it's happening. But in a digital currency, they will know exactly what you're buying and how much you're paying for it and who you bought it from. So now you have absolute control that they could shut off your digital currency. And in that shut off, you don't get to buy and you don't get to sell. Now, if you don't think this is something that a government can really do, let's go back to 2012, where Lois Lerner is working at the IRS in the tax-exempt branch, and she denies tax-exempt status to any group that's got Tea Party in the name. She denies their ability to have that status, so the contributions to that political cause were shut down. And she did it intentionally. And it looks like she had regular meetings in the White House. And I don't know if they discussed it, but why in the world is the head of the tax-exempt branch meeting regularly in the White House? So look at this. This should be something that every American says, no, we value our privacy. And I would encourage you.
So, as the devil kind of expressed to you, this is what another issue we have to face in America, and that is a digital global, a digital nationalized currency ran by the government, right? And how they'll play it as if it's this cool, hip, convenient thing that you've never heard of. That's just, it makes life so convenient. Who needs cash when you have a credit card? Who needs a credit card when you have your Apple ID on your when you have your credit card on your phone? Who needs to have all this information on your phone when you have it on an Apple Watch? You can just scan it with your wrist. It's just so convenient. Have you ever had an Apple Watch where you just had to click a button and then put it right on the whatever you call it, on where you swipe your card at, and on the Apple reader, and it just reads your watch or your phone, and now you're able to pay? It's so convenient. You don't gotta count cash. You don't gotta count the dollars or the change that you have. Who uses change anymore? That's weird. Now you gotta use your watch. Now you get to use, hey, why not even have it in your right hand or your forehead? So it's easier. You don't want to lose. You lose your watch. You might forget it in the car. You lose your phone. Yeah, you lose. Somebody will rob you for your wallet, but can they really rob you for something that's inside you? And that's what we're reading right here, right? It says this: the evolution of payment methods from credit cards to digital wallets, right? And it says this: the days of carrying a bulky wallet filled with cash, credit cards have gone. The rise of technology has realized a cognitive shift towards a more convenient and efficient payment method, the digital wallet, right? The ongoing digital evolution. The digital wallet, also known as an electronic or mobile wallet, is a digitized virtual version of the traditional physical wallet. The digital wallet stores personal information about our credit cards, debit cards, and other payment methods, allowing you to make secure transactions without presenting your card physically. So they're expressing how convenient it is to have a digital wallet. Your wallet's digital. You don't got to lose it. You don't have to. It won't get old and rust, and you got to buy a new wallet. It's just there forever. And it allows you to make secure transactions without presenting your card physically. Instead, you simply tap your smartphone or enter a one-off generated code to complete transactions. So convenient. Why not just do it? You'll never lose your arm. How does that happen? You might lose your phone, but you'll never lose your arm, right? And if you keep going, in other parts, it says it even right here. If there's a new update saying how Apple now can track things with your eyes, right? And it says this: Apple's eye tracking is designed for people with physical disabilities. It uses AI and the front-facing camera to collaborate in seconds to allow users to navigate their iPad and iPhone with just their eyes. The feature won't require additional hardware or accessories, Apple says. So, again, they're getting this even closer. They're getting as close as possible to making it so you pretty much don't have to do anything. They're trying to make you one as a robot so they can really control you. Algorithms. Look, the algorithms and AI is literally, people use AI and algorithms to pretty much predict your steps and to know exactly what you're going to do. And this is all for the sake of a totalitarian society, right? Totalitarian, relating to a system of government that is centralized and dictatorship, and requires complete subservience to the state. A totalitarian regime. What does it mean to be subservient? Willingness to obey others unquestioningly. Meaning, I'm going to serve you under any condition, under any circumstance. I'm going to be completely subservient to you, and that's what it puts you in a position to do. That's why if you do the digital currency and follow that, you're going to be completely subservient to this society. Let's keep going. Here's RFID credit cards. Overview of RFID credit card. These credit cards come with groundbreaking radio wave technologies. Unlike standard credit cards with magnetic technology, this unique property allows RFID credit cards to send and receive signals from a card reader through radio frequency. RFID is an advanced technology that requires you to wave your credit card in front of the reader. This allows you to purchase things with seconds and minimize the risk of snatching or forgetting your card in the store. This is just what's next. This is what you can read this, you can speak about it. Watch this. Conclusion. In a nutshell, RFID credit cards are unique high-tech cards that have brought advancement in the banking world. Due to ease and comfort, people have started to use it for several purposes. If you want to protect against credit card theft and leverage a simple and straightforward payment process, start using RFID technology. Start using RFID technology to protect against credit card theft and leverage a simple and straightforward payment process. Again, this is what's going to pretty much this is what's coming, right? This isn't something that we can just kind of just skip over. This is what's happening next, right? What did I have up here? Salakia. What was I looking at? Digital money, what it is, how it works, types and examples. All right. Where was I? Advances of digital money. The current financial infrastructure is a complex system of many entities conducting transactions between financial institutions. Takes time and money because they work in different technological systems and regulating regimes. The main advantage of digital money is that it speeds up transaction speeds and cuts back on costs. And you know, in a nutshell, this is what we're going to see coming up, right? And as the devil brought up to you, this is what it speaks of in the book of Revelation, chapter 13, right? When it speaks about that second beast, right? Let's see. And if you want to break down on what it is, on what this beast, who this beast is, and pretty much who they are, which, you know, this beast represents America. I should have a video up that speaks about this this same specific beast, but that's not why I'm here. But this is talking about America, right? This is Revelation chapter 13 and 15 says this: and he hath power to give life unto the image of the beast. The first beast, this is the second beast giving power unto the image of the first beast. The first beast is Rome and the revised Roman Empire, right? That the beast of the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. This is pretty much talking about the Western philosophy and the ways of the ancient Roman Empire, right? And this is what he does. The second beast, which is America, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark. Meaning, you're not going to be able to buy or sell if you don't have this mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let them that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, right? And we understand pretty much the what this number is and what it's attributed to. You have a number that represents pretty much the 2/3 of Israel, which is 66.6% of all Israel, which is going to be destroyed, which isn't going to make it through the fire, and but 1/3 will be. And many times 6 is a number of incompletion, which the scripture does speak on many times. But nonetheless, you have this mark that people are going to be able to receive, that if they don't have the ideologies or this mark, that they will not, pretty much, they won't be able to maneuver in the society, right? And that's what's going to happen next, right? You're going to have these things where people are going to be forced to following the ways of Babylon the Great. Again, pay the Apple way. They're going to make it sound so much easier, faster and easier than using cards or cash. Privacy and security built in, accepted on millions of websites and apps. And this is what you're going to see, right? So again, these are the last days. This is the time that we're in. We must keep the faith and endure unto the end. And when things get worse, we got to get better and we got to get stronger. As the times get worse, we got to wax mightier in these last days. Now, I do want to grab a scripture very quickly. Salakia. Bear with me. All right. This is Salakia. Bear with me. Here we go. Second Esdras, chapter, should be chapter 16 and verse 40. Watch this. It says this. This is a second Esdras chapter. See, I believe what he says is answered rapidly. Okay, here we go. I kind of want to start earlier, actually. All right, I'm just going to get this point real quick. I'll start at verse 35. Now listen to this message, you people who serve the Lord. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 16 and verse 35 in the GNT. It is the Lord's message. So receive it and believe what he says. The disasters are approaching rapidly and they will not be delayed. A woman in the 9th month of pregnancy may suffer labor pains for several hours. But when the times come for the baby to be born, there is no longer any delay. In the same way, the disasters that are coming on the earth will be delayed and the world will groan when it is caught in its labor pains. Meaning right now we're in the baby's kicking right now. You know what I'm saying? These quick little birth pains, you know, things like that happens, right? It'll happen. You know, baby hasn't been born yet. We're getting closer to the time, but we're not in the ER. We're not in the birth room or whatever you call it. We're not giving birth yet, right? But the time's gonna come, and we're gonna keep getting these labor pains. The baby's gonna keep kicking, and we're gonna get to the 9th month. We're not there yet, but we'll get there. We're getting there, right? But once we get there, it's gonna be so much build up. Everything happening, everything will get built up. Everything, all the wickedness and the folly and war is gonna get put to a max where it's not gonna be any way to turn back. Jacob's trouble is gonna get pushed up, getting pushed to the max until no matter what, it has to happen. There's no other outcome. This is like the Most High is just increasing it up until like it's a balloon about to pop, right? This is what we have to look forward to, right? So in the same way, the disasters that are coming on the earth will not be delayed, and the world will groan when it is caught in its labor pains. Listen to my message, my people, and get ready for the battle. When the disasters come, you must live as people whose homes is not in this earth. When this happens, you must live like someone who literally isn't from this land. Is not in this world, Salakia. You must live as people whose home is not in this world. That's how you must live. As if you're some foreign ET that's not from this world, and you're just waiting for your ship to get fixed so you can get out of here. Just like Noah was getting ready for the ark and building his ship, so to get rid of get out of the folly of that world. So this is exactly how the times of these last days are going to be, right? And I'm gonna grab that real quick. I forgot whether if it's in Matthew or Mark, but I'm gonna check both. Salakia. Here we go. Watch this. This is Matthew chapter 24 and 37. It says this: "But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving birth in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be." Right? "Then shall two be in the field, that one shall be taken and the other left. 2 women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken and the other left. Watch therefore, for you know not what hour your Lord cometh, but know this, that if the good man of the house had known, if the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Right? Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not the Son of Man cometh. Right? Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom the Lord hath made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season. Blessed is that servant whom his Lord when he cometh shall find doing. Verily I say unto you, that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. But if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and begin to smite his fellow servant, and to eat and drink with the drunken, the Lord of that servant shall come in the day when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of. So we must understand that this time is going to come. We must observe these times and act accordingly, right? It is what it is. May the Most High be with us in these last days, which he will be. The Most High will be with us in these last days. We just got to keep the faith and endure, right? Let's grab this real quick in Luke chapter 21. In verse 19, it says this. Verse 18 says this. Verse 17, and ye shall be hated of all men for my sakes. That sounds familiar. We read it earlier. But there shall not an hair of your head perish. In your patience possess ye your souls. Meaning, while we're being patient, while we're patiently waiting for our captivity to be turned, we must possess our souls. And we must keep the faith of the Lord so that nothing hurts us, right? And nothing will hurt us if we endure, right? And I want to grab this other scripture real quick. In 2nd Ezra, if I can find it. Chapter 2 and verse 26. Here we go. As for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish, for I will require them from among thy number. Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. So in the day of trouble, Jacob's trouble, everybody's going to be weeping and crying and be sorrowful, but you're going to be merry and have abundance. The heathen are going to envy thee. Look to verse 28. The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall not be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Lord. My hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell, which is the grave. Be joyful, O thou mother, with thy children, for I will deliver thee, saith the Lord. Remember thy children that sleep, for I will bring them out of the sides of the earth, and shew mercy unto them, for I am merciful, saith the Lord Almighty. Keep this in your mind, man. Yahweh is merciful. Yahweh is a merciful God. Look, for the fact that the Most High God was merciful enough to wake us up in the land of our captivity and have us be the lowest of the lowest, but then have us be the top people on the face of the earth, is a reason why we should exalt the name of Yahweh, right? So keep that in mind when things do get hard, or when Jacob's trouble pops off. You have to, absolutely have to keep this faith. You have to keep this faith, because that's our only way out. And may the Most High be with all of us in these last days, man. May the Most High have mercy and give strength, and strengthen those that truly believe and that are sincere in His truth and His faith, right? Let's keep reading. Proverbs chapter 3 and 25. Be not afraid of sudden fear, neither of the desolation of the wicked when it cometh. For the Lord shall be thy confidence, and shall keep thy foot from being taken. So we understand that we cannot be afraid of sudden fear. We cannot be afraid of the desolation of the wicked. When you see wicked people that are wicked getting killed in all manners of ways that you've never seen before, when you see people dying this way and that way, I know it may seem like it's a scary thing, but you can't be afraid, right? Why can't you be afraid? Because of what verse 26 says. For the Lord shall be thy confidence, and shall keep thy foot from being taken. Yahweh is going to be our confidence, and Yahweh is going to keep our foot from being taken, right? Let me grab another one. Let me see. Is it Ecclesiastes? Let me see. Is it verse? Bear with me. I was. Salakia. Let me grab this real quick. Bear with me. Isaiah Salakia. I think it's 56. Alright, no, it's 54. Salakia. Isaiah 54:17, it says, "No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord." So again, we understand that this is what we look forward to. We must stand strong in this faith, man. And what did Christ say? And Christ said it better than anybody else, right? In Matthew chapter 26 and verse 41, he said it better than anybody else. "Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation, because the hour of temptation is coming." And that's going to be what messes us up if we don't stand strong. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak, right? So our spirit is willing, but our flesh is weak, and we can't strengthen our flesh. But with that, I'd like to give honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, B'Shem Mashiach Malak Yahushai. Lord willing, everybody had a good Sabbath, and is able to stand strong in his faith, and Lord willing, that everybody watching this video can endure and fight through these perilous times that are going to come. With that, the better strong shalom, call Yahweh, B'Shem Mashiach Malak Yahushai, the Wada Abanawi Yahweh, B'Shem Mashiach Malak Yahushai, Kwam Yasharallah Shalom.